Welcome back, dear viewers. In our last video, we exposed the tyrannical nature of the ego, that construct we call I. We unmasked its delusions, its demands, and its destructive pride. Today we're diving into another battle that rages within us all, the struggle between envy and kindness. Envy, it's a poison that courses through our veins, a venom that corrupts our hearts and minds. But what is envy, really? It's not just wanting what others have. It's a seething resentment of their very existence. It's the ego throwing a tantrum because someone else dared to succeed, to be happy, to shine. Envy is the dark underbelly of our ego-driven society. It's the force that makes us scroll endlessly through social media, comparing our mundane moments to others' highlight reels. It's the voice that whispers, "They don't deserve that, it should be mine." It's the emotion that turns friends into rivals and abundance into scarcity. First, let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Envy is one of the ego's most insidious defenses because it's so taboo. We're taught from childhood that envy is shameful, something to be denied or hidden. So what do? We bury it deep, pretend it doesn't exist. But buried emotions don't disappear, they fester. The taboo nature of envy creates a perfect breeding ground for self-deception. We're more comfortable admitting to almost any other negative emotion than envy. Anger? Sure. Sadness? No problem. But envy? That's too shameful to face. This collective denial has catastrophic consequences. Unacknowledged envy poisons relationships, corrupts institutions, and drives societal inequalities. It's the silent killer of joy, connection, and authentic success. Breaking this taboo requires brutal honesty. We must dare to look at our envy head-on, to name it, to understand it. Only by dragging envy into the light can we disarm it. This isn't comfortable, it isn't pretty, but it's absolutely necessary if we want to free ourselves from envy's toxic grip and create lives of genuine fulfillment and connection. This envy, this green-eyed monster, is insatiable. It's never satisfied with what it has because it's always fixated on what it lacks. It's a bottomless pit of want, a black hole that consumes joy and spits out bitterness. Envy doesn't just want to have what others have, it wants them to lose it. It revels in others' misfortunes, finding a sick satisfaction in their downfall. Envy is the ego's way of saying, if I can't have it, no one should. It's a toddler's tantrum elevated to a life philosophy. It's the reason we can't genuinely celebrate others' successes, why compliments and true thank yous stick in our throat, why we find ourselves hoping, even just a little bit, that the person who seems to have it all will stumble and fall. But here's the cruel joke. Envy promises satisfaction but delivers only misery. It convinces us that if only we had what they have, the job, the partner, the looks, the talent, then we'd be happy. But it's a lie, because envy isn't about what we lack, it's about who we think we are. It's the ego's way of saying, I'm not enough. Envy blinds us to our own blessings, our own unique gifts. It's a funhouse mirror that distorts our perception, magnifying others' strengths and our own perceived weaknesses. It turns the rich tapestry of human diversity into a zero-sum game where someone else's gain must be our loss. This distortion feeds directly into what I have called in other videos the poor me mentality. It's a victim mindset that thrives on envy and self-pity. Poor me tells us that life is unfair, that we've been cheated, that everyone else has it better. It's the voice that whines, why them and not me? The poor me mentality is envy's toxic brother. Where envy looks outward with resentment, poor me looks inward with defeat. Together, they create a perfect swamp of misery and stagnation. This mindset blinds us to the abundance in our own lives. We become so focused on what we lack, on how we've been wronged, that we fail to see the gifts we've been given. Our unique talents, invisible. Our opportunities, overlooked. Our blessings, taken for granted. In this victim narrative, we abdicate all responsibility for our lives, conveniently ignoring our power to change, grow, or overcome. As it's far easier to blame the world out there than to challenge ourselves to truly put in the efforts that would heal our life. Poor me wallows in a narrative of lack and victimhood. It tells us we're powerless, that our circumstances are beyond our control. It's not fair, it moans. Everyone else has it so easy. This narrative becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, sapping our motivation and resilience. The poor me mentality turns envy into an art form. It doesn't just covet what others have, it uses others' success as proof of its own inadequacy. Every achievement by someone else becomes evidence of our own failure. Every stroke of good fortune for another is seen as a personal slight against the poor me. And guess what? Poor me revels in that, like an intoxicated lover. It wraps us in a perverse comfort, whispering sweet nothings of blame and excuses, keeping us trapped in its dysfunctional embrace. We become addicted to our own helplessness, drunk on the bitter wine of self-pity. The poor me mentality is a master of selective attention. It will ignore our own advantages and fixate on our struggles. It will dismiss our capabilities and exaggerate our limitations. All the while, it paints an idealized picture of others' lives, imagining that they're free from the challenges and setbacks we face. This combination of envy and self-pity is particularly insidious because it absolves us of responsibility. If life is unfair and others have all the advantages, why even try? It gives us an excuse to stay stuck, to avoid taking risks or putting in the hard work required for growth and change. But here's the truth. Life isn't a zero-sum game. Someone else's success doesn't diminish your potential for success. Someone else's happiness doesn't steal from your reservoir of joy. The poor me mentality sells us a lie that we're powerless victims in a world of limited resources. The antidote to this toxic mindset isn't just positive thinking. It's realistic thinking. It's about seeing ourselves and others clearly, acknowledging both strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and challenges. It's about taking responsibility for our lives while also extending compassion to ourselves and others. Ultimately, overcoming envy and the poor me mentality is about reclaiming our power. It's about refusing to be a victim of comparison, choosing instead to be the author of our own story. It's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes not from outperforming others, but from becoming the best version of ourselves. Now, we can't talk about envy without at least touching on its toxic twin, jealousy. While envy is the pain we feel at others' good fortune, jealousy is the fear of losing what we have to someone else. But here's the kicker. Jealousy often masquerades as desire. It whispers, "I want what they have," even when that thing isn't truly aligned with our deepest values or aspirations. Jealousy. Jealousy is like a toddler at a toy store, frantically grabbing at everything in sight, not because they genuinely want or need these things, but simply because someone else has them. It's a desperate attempt to fill a void that can never be satisfied by external possessions or achievements. Jealousy, like envy, blinds us to the richness of our own lives, making us covet things we may not even truly want, simply because we fear missing out or being left behind. Jealousy is a ravenous beast, never satisfied, always hungry. It doesn't care what you truly need or value, it just wants what others have, period. This insatiable greed isn't about fulfillment, it's about fear. Fear of inadequacy, fear of missing out, fear of being left behind. Jealousy blinds us to our own worth, our own gifts. It's a thief, stealing our contentment and replacing it with an endless, futile chase. We become puppets dancing to the tune of others' possessions and achievements, losing ourselves in the process. This is not living. It's existing in a state of perpetual lack, even when surrounded by abundance. Jealousy doesn't just covet things, it covets lives, experiences, identities. It's a shapeshifter, always convincing us that the grass is greener elsewhere, that we're somehow incomplete without what others have. Envy and jealousy steal our peace, our contentment, our ability to be present in our own lives. They rob us of genuine connections because how can we truly connect with others when we're constantly comparing, constantly competing? But what's the alternative to this poisonous envy and its jealous twin? It's not just the absence of resentment, it's the presence of something far more powerful, kindness. In the face of envy's seductive whisper, kindness roars. It declares, there is enough for everyone. Your success does not diminish me. Your joy adds to the richness of our shared human experience. As we close this first part of our exploration, I invite you to sit with this idea. Feel the weight of envy you've been carrying and imagine what it would be like to set it down. Envision a life guided by kindness rather than comparison, by abundance rather than scarcity. In our next video, we'll delve deeper into this transformative kindness. We'll explore practical ways to cultivate it in our daily lives, to use it as a shield against envy and a sword to cut through the illusions of our ego. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery. Remember, every time you choose kindness over envy, you're not just changing yourself, you're changing the world. Until next time, may you find the courage to be radically, transformatively kind.